Hi, I'm Corey. Welcome to December Daily Advent 2025, Day 5. This is a collaboration hosted by Tracie Fox from Tracie Fox Creative, and it's, I don't know, the 4th or 5th year that she's done this. I absolutely love doing them simply because Tracie is amazing to work with, and her kits are so user-friendly. Now, this year she's got two collaborations going on. One with her Festive Dispatch Ephemera, and that's something that you can purchase in her shop, and all the links for all that will be listed below. But she also has a freebie collaboration that's focused on clusters. Now, I did not sign up to participate in that, but I absolutely will be making some clusters because I love clusters. And if you go to her coffee website, she's got the set number 1, and I believe there's going to be a second set, with all kinds of bits and pieces that you can use to make clusters. And it's completely free. There's no cost. And there's some absolutely incredible images there. So just giving you a heads up. Again, all that information will be linked below and is on Tracie's website and Ko-fi page. All right. With this collaboration, the idea is it's a December daily. So you make something each day in December, or as your schedule allows. And I am day 5, and this is the piece that we'll be using. Now, there's tags and there's cards and there's all kinds of things that you can choose to use, as you can see. There's all kinds of things that you can use to decorate. And it's just make a piece and put it in your journal. And I normally don't watch people before I make mine, but I watch Tracie's, and she has the most beautiful mailbox with a snowman on front of it, and it's interactive, and the mail goes in and there's a shaker, and it is phenomenal, truly incredibly amazing. And then I watched Debbie Kipp, who had day 2, and she's from Kipp's Corners, and she did 2 different tags that have so many different techniques. She uses embossing powder, and she uses baked enamel, and I think she uses some crystal glaze, and I think Tracie uses that too. And she used some other things, and she made some thicker and thinner, lots of texture, lots of mixed media, which is, Debbie's super strength. Gorgeous tag, so please watch hers. And then this morning I watched Jody Lewis. She has day 3, and she took this piece and made the cutest little piece to put inside her journal with that. Loved it. And it's day 3 still today, and I'm just making my video a bit in advance. But tomorrow's Kara Brandon, who is just a tag phenomenon. And then a person I don't know, Belle Sanderson. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that individual does as well. So here's mine. Okay. This is my 3rd take because you'll laugh at me. I'm a dork. When I show you what I'm doing, I kept losing the cards, and I was leaving them inside the book. So my idea for today is I'm tagged with a card, and my idea came from Instagram, and I'll put this up here so you can see the name of the person who inspired me. They made a bookmark using fabric and ribbon, and then to give as a gift. And when I saw that, I thought how cool that would be to include in a journal. And you could, of course, use fabric, but I decided to use paper or card instead and alter it a bit to suit me. So if you are wanting to see it, that is the person. I'm not even going to attempt it. Looks like both French and Spanish. I don't know what their primary language is, but there you go. All right. My tag is found, or I'm sorry, my card is found in the Festive Ephemera pack on page 14, and mine is the top left card. That's the one I'll be using. Now, these are all similar, and of course, you can use any one that you want, but that is the one for today, and that's the one I'll be using. And I really loved it because my grandfather's birthday was December 23rd. He was born in 1902, but anyway, it just made me happy to have that connection. So that's the piece that I've cut out and I'll be using. And you can see here I cut it out from this one. And I'm going to put these aside, and we'll come back to these. We'll probably put a word or something on ours in just a bit. So I cut out that tag, and I cut it out twice. Cut it out once to make the base for a card, and then I cut it out a second time, and you can see that there's some embossing powder on there. That's one of the Seth After Vintage Beeswax embossing powder. I love this stuff. It gives you that baked vintage texture, and it also makes things a little bit thicker, which is why I did it. And all I did is I cut out this card, and then I smooshed it down on the embossing stamp pad, and then I finished it off with the Seth After Vintage Beeswax embossing powder. So that's what you're seeing here. That's my second card. My first card, we're going to pretend I haven't done this part yet because, like I said, I've done it twice. This is the third take. I just cut the card and I folded it. But rather than folding it in half, I folded it, that's about between a quarter and a half inch, something along those lines, so that I can make this into a pocket to tuck something in there. Okay, that's all I did. Took it, cut it, inked it because, you know, I like to ink things, though I will probably go back later. This stuff takes a while to dry, but I have this really pretty gold leaf rub and buff, and I think I'll go around the edges and put a little bit of that on because it'll emulate this gold here. So that is the base for what we're doing. That is this piece essentially. Then I looked at my lace and my ribbon and my Christmas ribbon and my Christmas trim for the piece that goes over the top, the piece that goes over the top of our book, right? And these were just a little too bright for this set, but I had these. Some velvet ribbon in a mossy green and a thicker one in gold, and then lots of lace. And gosh, it pretty much kills me not to use lace, but maybe I'll use lace later. And the other thing I was thinking I could do is, so I picked the mossy green ribbon and I put just a D-ring. I grabbed some bits of gold, things that I had from my gold stash. Tracie's really big on using what you have, and I completely agree. These are things I had in my stash. They're gold. I just pulled them out. You could use jingle bells. You could use Christmas beads. You could use ornaments. You could use little balls. You could use anything you want. Those were all a little bit too modern for what I had in mind. And so I put them back. But look, and I pulled out some washi in case we decide we need some washi, because you never know. So I ended up deciding on this, though I could conceivably, let's see if there's a thinner lace here. Now that I think about it, I could put a bit of lace on top. Oh, that would be really pretty, wouldn't it? So let's see if I like that. That one's a nice thin lace. So is this one. Let's see. That's really pretty too. Gosh. Look how pretty that is. But, you know, I think maybe I'll just decisions. So if this is an epic fail, you won't see it. But if it's not an epic fail, I'm just showing you my process. I think I'm going to just use this, and then I'll put lace on something else, because heaven forbid I don't use lace. Love this stuff. This just happens to be a spool of some of the thinner laces, but so pretty. All right, I'll put this away, and maybe we'll use lace a little bit later. All I did is I cut a length of the velvet ribbon, and I put a D-ring at the bottom because when I was playing around, I was looking, I thought maybe I could put some little balls at the end, or I think what I ended up deciding on was this little gold tassel-y bit, because it's going to go on the front of the book, so it'll be a pretty dangle on the front. And then I think I decided that I was going to use two, or maybe it was this one. Don't remember now. That might be a little bit too bright of a red for this. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I think I might go with two, and I'll put those on right here at the end, and those will hang over the top. And here, I'll show you. I'll zoom in when I get to that point. So I'll put these off to the side for now, but all I did is cut a length of velvet ribbon and put a D-ring at the bottom in gold. And what I should do is just glue so that it stays where I want it to. I'll put a little bit of glue down in here. Now you could use Fabri-Tac. I'm just using my art glitter glue because it's right here on hand and it's not going to show. So I'll put that down and lay it on top of each other so it gives it a double layer of thickness. Doesn't necessarily need to be that thick, but that's what I'm doing, so that the pretty velvet shows on both the top and the bottom. And it needs a little bit more glue right here, it looks like. There we go. So this will be the piece that hangs over the top. I could sew that, and actually I'm going to sew the card. You could just glue it, but because this velvet is so thick, I believe I'm going to sew around mine when I make the pocket. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so this, you can see it's unraveling. That's okay. It's going to be inside the card. It's not going to show. And basically the way it's going to look, and this is what I did, and this is why I've made this 3 times, I kept losing this card piece. How come couldn't find it. It's because when I was putting it in the book to show you, I would leave it in the book. So basically it's like this. I'm going to glue this closed. This is going to stay in here. This will stay on your page with a little bit of a pocket, and then you close your journal, and then this will dangle down over the front. And so then what I would do is I would take this and I'd put the book aside, and then I couldn't find the card that I made. Not my brightest moment. Okay, so card is folded over, ready to go. I want to put it in about the center, and I am not super great at centering things. This card ends up measuring, oh, let's see, just over 2.5 inches. So I'm going to glue this bit down simply because I want it to stay in place while I sew it. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there in about the middle. Yeah, that's about the middle. That's close enough for me. And then I'm going to put it in like this. I want it to hang down a little bit so that it catches. Like if I were just using glue on this, it may or may not hold real well, which is why I'm going to sew it. I don't think I need to do anything else prior to sewing it, but we'll find out. Is that really the center? Let's see. So that's 1 1/4, and over here that's 1 1/4. Yeah, because it's offset here, it doesn't really look like it's super centered, but it is. Here, I'll let you look at this pretty piece. I could put the sewing machine over here, but honestly, all I'm going to do is sew along the bottom and the top. That's it. You don't need to see me do that. Just sewing a straight line, super simple, along the bottom and the top. So as Gail would say, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I've got the top sewn. And we'll sew the bottom. Yeah, it'll hold it in a little nicer. I didn't sew it perfectly, but you know what? I don't do anything perfectly, so that works out well. Okay, so if I had editing skills, I could edit this, but I have no editing skills. That was something I was going to learn this year, and then life got in the way. So maybe next year. Maybe it'll be my goal for next year. I've been thinking about a word of the year, like I often do, and I might use prioritize for next year, because sometimes I get so caught up in what I'm doing that I forget to prioritize the things I really should be doing. But we'll see. I'm not 100% sure on that either. Okay, so all I did was I sewed along the top and I sewed along the bottom too, and I'm going to put a little bit of ink there to kind of, I have off-white thread in there, and there you go. Good enough. Okay, so now we've got the base of this. This will go onto my page. This will come over. We need to create a piece to go inside this little pocket, and we need to, gosh, I don't remember if I said it. I did, I think. We're going to fussy cut this to put on top so we can tuck a little bit of something behind it, because I love doing that. Just kind of like a little surprise journaling thing. And then I just have fussy cut scissors, and I'm going to start fussy cutting this. And I'm just going to do the poinsettia, not the leaves behind it. Though you could fussy cut as much or as little as you want. And I should have had this done, but I want to show you how I did this intentionally, showing you how easy it is to fussy cut around the embossing powder. And it just makes your card a little bit thicker, and it gives it that really cool sheen, which is why I did it. Am I even in frame here? So I'm just fussy cutting around it. Not perfect by any means, but, you know, close enough. It's very forgiving. Okay, and let's cut some of this out. This is a really easy image to fussy cut if you are a fussy cut person. All right, so you can see there, just cut it out. I don't know if I'll use this or not, but let's put it aside just in case. Now what I'm going to do is glue part of this on here. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit for this. I'm going to glue just part of this, but first I'm going to ink the edges. Oh, I don't have my, I use eyeshadow applicators I don't have it out, so I'll just use this for now. I use an eyeshadow applicator to these fine little pieces when you're wanting to ink the edges. And I just don't want that white to show through. It'll detract. But if you go to the Dollar General or Dollar Store or whatever you've got, the pound store, and the foam eyeshadow applicators work great for those little itty bitty white edges. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I've got this fussy cut, got it out. Ooh, you're close. Sorry about that. It got right in your face. I was trying to match my nails to the color of this. Epic fail, but that's okay. They're still red. They're still Christmassy. They're still festive. And then I'm going to glue this piece, but only part of it. So I'm going to go down to this edge. Don't remember if I said it or not. I apologize if I already did. But what I did when I printed this, I just printed the one side with the Tracie's image, and then I used plain coffee dyed image to put on the back so that it would be off-white and not that really stark white. So you can see I glued down, I don't know, maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that, to the edge so that I'm creating a tuck. And then I'm going to lay this over the top. And you've got a little bit of wiggle, a tiny bit of wiggle room there. There we go. And then I'm going to use, I moved my magnets because they were in the way, but I'll use one of my big magnets to hold this in place while it dries. I just want it to dry for a moment. Okay, so while that's drying, that's going to be a tuck, and we're going to make a little card or a little tag or something. So let's look at this and see, because I haven't done this part yet at all. Haven't figured out. This was her first. She spelled naughty backwards, and I didn't reprint it because that just totally, ooh, zoom back out, Corey. There we go. The naughty spelt wrong just made me smile, so I had to save it. So, but you guys won't have that on yours. So I guess I could use special delivery or pas avion, Santa charge. Those are really cute. It already says 23 on mine, so maybe Christmas mail. She's got some other little bits too, some words. And oh, maybe we'll use one of those. Oh, I know. Maybe we'll use this to tuck in. Oh, that would be really cute. Maybe we'll use that one to tuck in. So I'll pull this to the side. I think I want a word. That should be dry by now. I think I want a word like right on top of here. So let's see what we've got. Now, I didn't print everything. I just printed a few things because there was so much. And I knew I would... Oh, here we go. One of these little itty bitties would be really cute. Maybe we'll do that. Okay. Gosh, decisions. But these are really cute too. Okay. And then, oh, look at the little letters. Don't the little letters just make you happy? See, that's the one Tracie used. Okay, stop now, Corey. You're getting way sidetracked. Okay, let's see. It's tags. See, there's just some samples of the tags that you have as an option. Christmas Postal Service. You know what? That one's really pretty. Maybe I'll just use Christmas Postal Service because that pops out really nicely on that. Maybe we'll do two things. Okay, so let's go like this. Let's make a commitment here. I'm going to cut this out, but I'm not going to use all of it. I'm only going to use part of that. I'm just going to use the Christmas Postal Service part simply. I like these for fussy cutting shaped images, but they're not as fabulous for cutting straight images. Okay. So I'm going to cut here. And if we don't like it, we just cut another one and try something else. Should I probably have had these all cut out? Yeah, but then I have way too many choices. Okay. So let's see. And I might have to put one of those cutie patootie little letters. Oh, that's pretty cute. I like it there, and no, I don't like it up on top, but it's a little thick. So maybe we'll go with one of the thinner ones, the smaller ones. Oh, I don't know. Oh, Santa North Pole. That looks like more like a kid one. Express charge to pay. Christmas delivery is pretty cute too, and that's not quite. I don't know. Maybe it is just as wide. Don't know. Okay, let's try that one and see. Normally I have all these cut out in advance and I just put them in one of these little enamelware bins so that I can rifle through and pick one, but I didn't do that this time. For those who are not new to my channel or have been here a while, I did have surgery on my left knee last week, and it is slowly but surely healing. Oh yeah, I like that. That's cute. Okay, that's the one I'm going to use. And I'm getting better. So thank you for your thoughts and your well wishes. I really appreciate it. My right heel's still having some problems, but that'll eventually get better too. Okay. And maybe for, oh, I know, we'll use one of these little envelopes for our pullout. What do you guys think? Oh, so many choices. Maybe I'm looking for colors, basically. You know, can't go wrong with any of them. Truly. I mean, they're all just fabulous. So I'm going to cut this off and put this here. And then on this Christmas delivery, I am going to glue it down all the way because I don't want anything to tuck in or under that. But here I've got a nice little side tuck. I'll ink this edge. This is on thinner paper. I printed these on just, because I knew it was going to go on top in layers. I printed these on Epson photo matte paper, but not the heavier weight one. The card bases I printed on the heavyweight photo Epson paper. Yeah, that's really cute. Okay, I'm going to do that. And I decided we weren't going to, I thought about tucking one of those little envelopes here, but it's just getting a little bit too busy, especially because I want to tuck something there. So I'm going to glue this right on top. And I think I want it to touch that edge right there. Oh, maybe I need to zoom in a bit. Touch that edge right there. Now, I am normally not a person who works into their desk, but today it looks like I am that person. See, there's some really cute ones there too. Bottom line is you can't go wrong. And I said I was going to use that one, I think, for the inside bit. So and I printed coffee dyed on the back of this one too. It's just a kit. I think it was Tracie's, but I could be wrong. I've had it for a long, long time, and I don't even think about it. There's several different shades. When I needed something coffee dyed on the back, and I don't want to ink a lot, I just do that. Okay, so I said I was going to use that one. Okay. And I could tear these, but it's just as easy to cut them. If I want to raggedy up the edges a bit later, I certainly can do that with a distress tool. Scissors work too, but I have a distress tool that I like so I don't cut myself. Okay. And here is essentially the same thing, just in a bit smaller. All right. So maybe, oh, that's really cute. Cute, cute, cute. And what we're going to think of to put on the bottom of that. All right. And let's see. I need, you know what? Maybe we'll use this for the top right here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then we'll put a tag in there. Okay, I am going to round those corners just a smidge. I have one of these itty bitty corner rounders just because they seem so stark. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a trim on there. And it's off-white on the back, so you can use that as a writing tag, a place to write. I'm going to ink around the edge here. People have told me they like to do the craft with me and hear my thinking process. Other people, it drives them nuts. So if it's a person it drives you nuts, my apologies. I'm, trying to honor everybody's choices. Okay. And I'll put that, oh, that's where the lace can go. Okay. Sold. So here is this punch. I think I have a large enough gold. Yeah, I think I do. Dealy Bob. Okay. Those might be too big for the hole I made, but I can always make a bigger hole, right? Yep. Okay, it is a little bit too big. So what I do is I have this old tool from my old spinning wheel, and I use that. You can use a bunch of things. Knitting needles work great too, but I needed to make the hole just a smidge bigger. So I reamed it out basically. And now let's see this. I rarely ever use these. I usually use my spring-loaded center punch, but it's loud and this is right here. So There we go. Oh, that worked fine. Okay, good. And now we've got this little tuck right there. Oh, look how fun that is. And now, and it'll stay nice and snug, right? And I'll put a bit of lace there. We've got to put a little card in here. And I thought, what did I say I was going to do? This one maybe? I think it was this one. I'll fold that over and use it as a tab or a pull, because that's a good size for that. And then there's room for a little list or a journaling tab. You know what I could do? I could use scratch paper, or if I could use that same image that Jody Lewis used and just use that as a writing page to make it fit. Maybe I'll do that. And there we go. Just ink that up a bit, and then I'll fold it in half like so to make a pull tab, because the colors play nicely together, and that's what I was looking for here. Okay. Oh, there's some little itty bitty ones. I knew I had little itty bitty ones somewhere. All right. Okay, what did I say I was going to do? I am going to grab the one that Jody used, if I can find it. Yep, here it is. So there's this piece, and again, I coffee dyed the back and the front, so I've got both, and I'll just cut this out. Yeah, that's too small. I was gonna say I could use this one as well, but I'll use this, so it's all from the kit. I could use scratch paper too. See, 3, 14, 24. So those is something you can use on those days, this envelope, and you can decorate it any way you want. Oh, that's why Jody used it. She was day 3, and this is the piece for day 3. I'm a quick one. Okay, let's see. How wide is this? The opening is just under 3 inches. So let's go like this. Just a smidge under 3 inches. I didn't cut that straight, but that's not a surprise. And just under 3 inches, so something like that maybe. And I'll save this because I can use it for other things. Okay, there we go. Got a piece. It's from the kit, and they're very comparable. They look very similar. And it should double check that it fits. Yep, it does. But what did I do with that envelope that I just cut? Corey. Oh, here it is. Good. Okay. I think I'm going to trim this just a tiny bit more because that was a smidge too wide. And I didn't cut it straight. Well, of course I didn't. Why would I cut it straight? Excuse me. That's better. And there we go. I probably didn't push it up to the edge. Okay. Piece to go on the inside, and let's just fold this so that it fits nicely. And how do I want to do that? So I want this as a tab, so let's just fold it into thirds. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just go like so. Okay. And then I can ink all the edges up. I'll just do the top one for right now, but I would normally ink all the edges all the way around because I like that look. And it's way easier to ink prior to putting a tab on than after. But the tab's just going to go there, and I can ink all that other stuff later. Okay. And it fits in here nicely. No, it's still a little snug. Why is it snug? Oh, I know why, because I sewed up. Well, that's okay. It's an easy fix. Just do even amounts off both sides. There we go. Just make it a little narrower. And ink a bit more. See, I was going to make this a really quick video because everybody else made really quick videos, and then it was me, and I jabber, and it's not a quick video. Shocking. Okay. If I had editing skills, I'd go back and I'd delete some of the stuff that you don't need to see, but don't have editing skills, so there you go. I'm going to put this here so that sticks out a little bit, like a pull or a tab. Sure, we'll call it like that. There you go. So you open it up and you've got journaling space, and I'll link it all later. All right, so this piece goes in here. Okay, see, that isn't that a fun little pull? And then this piece goes here, and I'll put lace or something on that. I'm not 100% sure yet what I want to put on that, but there's a little journaling spot to tuck in right there. And then now the bottom. So this goes in our journal, like so. This is obviously not my journal. This is just a book that was on my shelf. So it goes in like this, right? And then you fold it up and it goes down here. And all I have to do now is put the little dangly bits on the bottom. And that will be our tag. And I said I was going to use this one, I believe, and this one. Okay, so now I need a couple jump rings. Oh, sure, that works. These ones look like they're maybe a little bit thicker. Maybe I'll use the thicker ones. Okay, let's hope the darn thing works. And I pulled out the tools that I need for that. Again, this jewelry making and jewelry stuff is not my strength, but you know, I'm willing to give it a shot. And then you use two of these guys, and you one to hold and one to twist. And I'll put that on here and that on here, and then twist it back. Some of you that are really good at this are probably cringing at my technique, but it seems to work. I don't have things fall off too often. Okay, so that one's on, and then I'll do the same thing for here, unless I drop it first. Okay, here we go. Maybe somebody else who's wanting to try this and has never done it before can learn something from mine. Though doubtful, probably want to watch jewelry makers, but this could work. All right, then close these guys up. Okay, gotta hold on tight there and there. I used the same size jump rings. This should conceivably work. Oops, don't close it before you get it wrapped around the ring though. Okay, trying to show you as I'm doing it. Maybe that's my challenge. Okay, good. Well, closer. And it does fit. And there we go. Okay, so they're on. And that is today's card. It's kind of a cheat because it's not a postcard by itself, but it shows you how you can alter it. And then that will hang over the front of the journal with a fun little dangle. Again, jingle bells would work really well. Thank you so much for watching, for all your kind comments, for your support. And please know that I appreciate you immensely. Enjoy the rest of the collaboration and all the beautiful creative ideas that are out there. Take care and happy creating.